Ever feel like you're just scratching the surface of what really makes people and businesses tick?
Yeah, like there's some hidden code, right?
Exactly. Like some people just get it. Well, today we're diving deep into the world of Marinés Pereira.
Ah, yes. Her work is fascinating.
What's so interesting is how she pulls insights from areas you'd never expect to see blended. We're talking physical discipline, the human mind, even cutting-edge tech.
It really is a unique mix. And what's compelling is she's been building this perspective for over 4 decades. That's a lot of experience.
It really is. This isn't someone who just read a few articles. We're talking a journey from sports and dance right through to neuroscience and AI.
Quite the path.
So our mission here in this deep dive is really to try and uncover the core principles behind her neurobusiness approach.
Neurobusiness.
Think of it as us giving you maybe a shortcut to understanding some of those, well, invisible forces that shape success for individuals, for companies.
And we've been looking at materials that really lay out her career, her unique perspective.
It all started somewhere very tangible, didn't it, with the body?
Right, exactly. A deep understanding of the physical.
Yeah, she was an athlete, a dancer, got her degree in physical education from USP, University of São Paulo, which is, pretty prestigious.
And that early immersion in the physical, it seems like it really provided a foundation for everything else.
You think so? How?
Well, think about it. Being an athlete, a dancer, that instills discipline, right? Consistency. A direct feel for how intention translates to physical response.
Okay, I see that. Effort and outcome.
Exactly. And then she seems to have taken that fundamental connection and applied it to the fuzzier world of business performance.
Which brings us to her jump into the corporate world. That's quite a story, too.
Big leadership roles in major fitness chains, runner, Cia Athletica.
Via Ritmo, too. And then commercial director at Les Mills, Brazil. Apparently made a big impact there.
Right. And it was during that time, really immersed in the business side of things, that she had this key realization.
That physical strength and just, like, standard business tactics weren't enough.
Precisely. That wasn't the whole picture. It brings up that question, what really makes the difference?
Between success and failure.
Yeah. I mean, sure, drive and strategy matter. But Marinés started seeing this other element, less visible but powerful.
The mind.
The human mind. The operating system underneath it all.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting for me. Around 2004, driven by that question, why do some succeed where others fail? She makes this huge pivot into neuroscience.
That's a big shift.
A massive change. She dives deep into neuroplasticity, how the brain changes neurotransmitters, emotional intelligence, cognitive biases.
All the core stuff.
Yeah.
Decision-making, motivation, stress responses, the actual brain mechanics.
What strikes me is the sheer curiosity driving that. It wasn't just casual interest.
No, it seems like a really dedicated effort to grasp the science behind behavior in a professional setting.
And this deep dive into the brain, this leads her to develop Neurobusiness.
Right. And she'd already founded her consultancy, Provider Solutions, back in 2003.
Wow, so really early on. Applying these insights to actual business problems.
Yeah, an early adopter for sure. And if you connect it back, you see the journey, right? The physical understanding from her early career.
Gave her the what?
Exactly. And neuroscience gave her the scientific language, the framework, the why. It let her build this unique methodology.
So Neurobusiness, at its heart, is about decoding. Using brain science to understand corporate challenges.
That's a good way to put it. Decoding what's happening.
Can you give us some concrete examples? How does this play out?
Sure. Okay, think about marketing. Why does one campaign work and another just bombs?
Yeah.
From a neurobusiness view, you'd look at whether the message hits the brain's reward centers, or maybe it triggers avoidance because of some cognitive bias, those mental shortcuts we take.
Okay, got it. What else?
Or creating psychologically safe workplaces. That's huge now. She adapted models like SCAR-F to understand the brain's threat and reward triggers in social situations.
So leaders can foster that sense of safety, belonging.
Exactly, which is vital for team performance. Then there's leadership development itself, helping leaders understand brain function to motivate people better, connect more effectively.
And things like sales, management processes.
Yeah, aligning those with how the brain actually processes information, makes decisions, responds to incentives, making it brain-friendly, essentially.
But it's not just about fixing problems, is it? I read she also incorporates positive psychology.
That's a really important piece, yes. It complements the neurobiology.
How so?
Well, positive psychology isn't just about deficits. It's about nurturing strengths, fostering well-being. The idea is basically that a brain working from a place of positivity, resilience,
Not chronic stress.
right, just inherently more creative, more engaged, performs better.
Okay, so body, mind, neuroscience, positive psychology, already potent mix. But she didn't stop there.
No, she kept pushing, exploring fields that seem, well, pretty far out there to some.
Like quantum physics. I mean, how does that connect to business?
It shows her willingness to look beyond standard cause and effect, doesn't it? She studied quantum activism with Amit Goswami.
Since 2012, yeah.
So she's exploring these quantum ideas, entanglement, linked particles, superposition.
On local consciousness.
Yeah.
Akashic field. Sounds complex.
It is. But she seems to use these concepts to find new ways of thinking about things like interconnectedness in teams, maybe intuition, creativity. Like, could team dynamics have deeper links than we realize?
Wow. Okay. That's definitely stretching the usual business thinking.
Mm-hmm. And then there's her work with disruptive technologies. AI, metaverse, NFTs, blockchain.
And again, it seems she sees these as more than just tools.
Exactly. More like extensions of human capacity. Think about AI analyzing vast data sets.
Finding patterns a human might miss.
Right. Insights into customers, markets, metaverse, NFTs, new ways to build community, engage audiences, blockchain for trust, transparency.
And she specifically mentions the partnership between, like, the experience of the 50-plus generation and the power of AI.
Yes, that synergy, recognizing the value of wisdom and data power. It's quite insightful.
And the final piece seems to be this integrative spirituality, exploring science and spirituality together.
Yeah, looking at that convergence, it raises questions about, what is full human potential?
Beyond just the mental and physical.
Right. So she integrates ancestral wisdom, contemplative practices. She references people like Jay Dispenza with the science, seeking a more holistic model, body, mind, and spirit, for overall well-being, which ultimately fuels performance, too.
Okay, so with this incredibly broad, maybe even unconventional knowledge base, where does Marinez stand now? She sounds like a recognized authority.
Oh, absolutely. Her standing today is really built on those decades of work and her unique synthesis. As co-founder of Provider Solutions, the impact is significant.
The numbers are impressive. Over 80,000 people reached through talks, courses, mentored over 2,000 professionals in neurobusiness specifically.
Yeah, the reach is substantial.
And that client list, Bradesco, Itaú, Banco do Brasil, Citibank, GM, Volkswagen, these are major players.
It really speaks volumes, doesn't it? It shows her approach isn't just theory. It has real-world application and credibility at the highest level.
Delivers actual value.
And she's known as a really compelling speaker, right? Both nationally and internationally, able to make these complex ideas accessible, actionable.
Plus, she's written 8 books, with more coming. That no brain, no gain quadrilogy kind of sums up her core message, doesn't it?
It really does. Applying brain science for success. And don't forget her international certifications, behavioral analysis, coaching, leadership, sales methods.
It paints a picture of deep, well-rounded expertise, academic rigor, and practical application.
Definitely.
That sounds like an amazing journey, but I imagine it wasn't always smooth sailing. The sources mentioned challenges.
That's important to acknowledge, yeah.
Yeah.
Being a woman in fields often dominated by men.
Sports management early on, then tech, science.
She definitely would have faced skepticism, probably had to work harder to prove herself, prove the value of her different perspective.
And the material mentions resistance to change. Like leaders stuck in old ways, the hitting and yelling approach it mentions.
Ugh, yeah. Pancada y grito, as the source puts it. That kind of authoritarian style. Plus, the usual corporate stuff, power dynamics, maybe envy, sabotage, idea theft.
It sounds tough.
It really highlights what innovators often face, right? Inertia, resistance. But her resilience seems key.
Driven by strong ethics, a belief in her purpose.
That's what comes across. That conviction probably helped her push through and maybe even strengthened her message over time.
It really makes her seem like someone who built her legacy on competence, integrity, constant evolution, even when maybe there were easier paths.
Exactly. A testament to a principled approach, really, combined with that drive to keep learning.
So looking at the whole picture, MAIS Pereira really comes across as this bridge builder.
That's a great description.
Connecting body and mind, science and spirituality, experience and tech, theory and practice.
And her core mission seems to be about helping people, helping organizations break through limits, decode their potential.
And build a future where success is tied to ethics, to well-being,
Yeah.
not just profit.
Precisely. It's about creating that holistic integration.
And it's clear she's not offering quick fixes, right? No magic bullets.
No, definitely not. More like tools, frameworks, inspiration maybe for people to do the work themselves.
The meaningful work of understanding themselves, the systems they're in.
Yeah, empowering them for their own journey of development.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Marinus Pereira's world, for me, the key takeaway is just the sheer power in integrating these different fields.
From the physical to the neurological.
Even the quantum and spiritual, all serving this goal of unlocking potential in us, in our businesses.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Considering her work, what invisible components might be playing a big role in your own life, professionally or personally?
Good question.
And how might looking at those components through a new lens, maybe neuroscience, maybe those ideas of interconnectedness she talks about, how might that give you a completely fresh perspective?
That's definitely something powerful to consider. We really hope you'll delve deeper into some of these ideas yourself, see how thinking across disciplines might spark new insights, maybe even some breakthroughs for you.